Here we are with another episode of Talking Sports with the Legend.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight's guest is Colin Thompson from the Carolina Panthers.
Mm-hmm. Where are you from?
Steve, I'm from Doylestown, Pennsylvania, not too far up the road from where you're at. And I grew up in Doylestown and played a bunch of sports growing up in that area.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Archbishop Wood, and that's where I started with athletes helping athletes, and that's where I played football and went to school, graduated, won a state title in 2011 with a great group of guys there.
Didn't you go to Council Rock too?
No, I did not go to Council Rock.
I thought somebody said they did on Facebook.
No, I've done some AHA events there. I've been there for AHA, and I've done a lot of stuff there with Rick. But no, I did not go to Council Rock. I worked Justin Pugh's camp though at Council Rock North. I've been there.
Mm-hmm. What college? You went to Temple, right?
Yep, I started at the University of Florida first, and then I went to, after some foot injuries, I got released on my scholarship, and then had to go play football somewhere else if I wanted to play again. So I went to the Temple University, started University of Florida. Mm-hmm. Played a couple years there, won a championship my last year, and then went on to the NFL.
Yeah, I think we went to a game. Can't remember what year it was.
Yeah, AHA had a game. They were all invited to a game down at the lake.
Probably USF 2000.
Yes.
Probably 2016.
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. Steven couldn't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And then
Rick Leonetti will listen to this. He'll know it. He'll put a picture up about it.
Yeah.
What were we going to say?
Who was your coach at Temple?
Matt Rule.
Yes. See, I told him I met Matt at my office. I sell auto insurance and register vehicles, and he registered a little scooter with me. Went back and forth. He lived down in South Philly. Yeah,
he had that black little scooter. Yeah,
that was funny. Yeah, he was nice, real nice guy.
Yeah, he's now the head coach at Carolina as well. So I've had the pleasure to work for him in multiple different places now.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was great.
That's great.
And so did you get drafted at the draft, or did you go in
as a free agent?
I went in undrafted as a free agent. So I signed. Actually, the draft was still going on pretty much when I signed with the Giants. To some extent, we were my agent said, you're going to be getting X as a signing bonus. Are you okay with it? Yeah, I'm okay with it. Let's go. Let's do it. And yeah, then the party continued on. I live down in Cape May, New Jersey now. One of my fonder moments in my career of getting into the NFL. It was an unbelievable experience. It still is.
So that was Ron Rivera was coaching then, right?
No, that was I wasn't with the Panthers. I was with the Giants to start. So it was wow, his name slipped my head. This is driving me crazy. You gotta go to our old friend Google now. Right in the middle of the interview. Giants. Oh, Ben McAdoo. I didn't have to look it up.
Okay, Ben McAdoo. Okay.
Yeah, Ben McAdoo, who the Eagles wanted to be their head coach, a fun fact, over Doug Peterson. So,
yeah, that's funny, man. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting year for the Eagles.
What do you guys think about the Eagles?
What do you think, Steve?
I don't know.
You don't know? I don't know.
Hey, what do you think about the new head coach, Steve?
What do you think about the new head coach? You know anything about him? No. I heard him on the WIP. He sounds pretty good. I mean, but I wanted them to get somebody defense. I really wanted. No, I wanted Todd Bowles. That's who I wanted. I wanted the guy from Temple. Man, he's a Temple guy. Deuce Staley would have been a good one too. But I wanted him to get a defensive coach. I'm tired of all these offensive guys, and I just like a defensive guy.
Yeah.
Were you the Panthers in 2018?
No, this was my first year with the Panthers. So I went with the Giants. I'll just tell my quick little story here. So I started with the Giants in 2017. Then halfway through 17, I went to the Bears. I was with the Bears for a year until September of 18. And then the new year came around. So that'd be 19. I was in Birmingham in the AAF, that minor league that ended up folded about halfway through. And then I went to the XFL. Let's see. Yeah, that sounds about right. XFL in 2020, beginning of 2020, New Year's, when that league started. And then that league shut down because of our old friend coronavirus here. And then, then I got a call from Coach Rule and ended up in Carolina. So no, this is my first year in Carolina.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
cool. I went. Me and my dad went to a game. They played Panthers. I think it was year after they won the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah, it was the game that they came
The
back.
Eagles were winning.
The Eagles were winning, and then they
Cam
came
Newton.
back. Cam Newton brought them back. They were losing by like
Mhm.
17 points or something, and then he came back and played great in the fourth quarter. And not a good day for Big Steve here, right there, legend.
Yeah.
Steve gets fired up when the Eagles loses. When the Eagles lose.
Yeah, he gets a little upset when the Eagles lose.
Mhm.
What were you gonna say, Steve?
What's your favorite part about being in the NFL?
Well, I get a lot of opportunities to do a bunch of different things. I think that's what the coolest part about the NFL is. If you take advantage of it, you get to talk to people like yourself. I have my own podcast. This is all the off the field stuff. I'll hit that first. You get a lot of opportunities to do some things off the field and meet some great people, and make some friends and have fun and get to do what you love. I think that's my favorite part about it. You get paid to do what you love, and then playing wise, it's all I've known. I've fallen in love with the game, and I've given my life to it to some extent. And it's really, like I said, it's all I know. It's all I've been doing since 6th grade. So yeah, it's unreal to be able to reach my goals. Well, something I wanted to do my entire life. It's a lifetime goal, and finally got in after 4 years, really truly on the team, first time in my 4 years professional career. So what's it like? It's a great question. It's exactly what I thought I would be, more to the sense that I get to get paid for do what I love, and I get to play a game and get paid to do it, a lot of money. So it's a blessing. It really is.
How long do you take off? Like as soon as your season ends, how long do you take off, and then before you start working out again?
Yeah, great question. So I just started working back in today. This week, excuse me, or let me think. Today's the 10th, so the 3rd. Yeah, about a week I've been doing it. Let me say that. So I'll start swimming. I'll start stationary biking. Today was the first day I've actually ran. So I jogged today, just on and off for about a mile and a half, just light, getting my legs back, and push-ups and sit-ups and doing all body weight stuff. Squats, stuff, all the stuff to get my body back moving, get it back to the shape it needs to be in. So then when I start my training, I don't hurt myself, because I'm used to going training one way. And then, when you take a lot of time off, I took 30 days off. That was the first time I took over 5 days off. So the body was beat up and needed to give it some time to get right.
Do you have a role model?
Great question. I have a few. I would say my parents. I would say my parents for sure. Both of them have been there for me and have supported me and have given great advice and along the way. And I wouldn't be where I am without my parents, that's for sure. When it comes to players I try to model my game after. I've always been really, really into Jason Witten. I know he's a Dallas Cowboy, and I'm sure you don't like the Dallas Cowboys, but he is first class on and off the field. He does it the right way on the field. He's meticulous with everything he does. He gets the job done, and he's not the best athlete on the field. So a lot of maybe the same limitations I have are some of his. So I try to mimic my game off of him. I've watched probably 1,000 hours of his tape and film, and got a chance to play him this year to start the year, which is really cool. Didn't have a chance to meet him, but I will one day. And definitely a role model of mine growing up. That's someone I always watch and said, I want to be like that.
What would you say the biggest game that you played in your career? Like, it could be in high school, college?
Great question. I guess I'll go all three. That's fun. We'll make it fun. High school, I think, was state title my senior year at Archbishop Wood, Hershey Park Stadium. Played Bishop McDevitt. They were a top 25 team. They had Noah Spence, who was a top 10 player in the country at that point in time, defensive end. I'm a tight end, so I had to block him, face him the entire game. So Noah, that was a big challenge for me individually, but as a team, a very good team across the board. We ended up winning and putting it to them pretty good and won the state title. So that was the biggest game of my high school career for sure. And then college, there's some really cool ones. I started Florida. I wasn't even playing, but I was in the field for LSU, Florida, and it was packed. It was crazy. 3:30 SEC CBS game, and I'm there in a boot and crutches, but I was able to get on the sideline. They just allowed like a team rule where you're allowing guys with crutches on the sideline. So I got on the field, which was super cool, and the place was going crazy. Florida ran the ball like 28 runs in a row. Like it was a straight up bloodbath. Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Zach Mittenberg. They had a lot of really good players. They're Reed at safety. They were loaded defensively. They're all in the NFL still. And so were we at Florida. We were like 5th in the country. They were 6th or whatever. They could have been ahead of us. But we ended up winning by 1. That was the loudest I've ever heard a stadium in my life. The floor shook. That was really cool. And then at Temple, the biggest game I played in, I don't want to say Penn State's the biggest. I know Temple fans like that one. But that was first game of the year. It was really big at the time, and it was really big to beat them. But if we went 1-10, yeah, sure, the fans would say you beat Penn State. But as a team, it wouldn't have been the best thing for us, right? Like, okay, great, we beat somebody, but we just lost 10 straight. So we beat Penn State. That was in 15. But my senior year, the biggest game I played in, I think, was at the championship game. All the work that was put into Temple to turn the program around, I came in halfway through the work, but I was there and a part of the turnaround a little bit, at least half of it. And it was just an unbelievable group of guys and men working in the same direction, and ended up being a championship game back-to-back years. But we lost the first year in 15, and then we won in 16 at Navy. That was huge. That's the biggest game I thought I ever played in at Temple. And then, the NFL, it's a great question. Biggest game I played in was definitely this year. I mean, they all felt big, to be honest with you. They all felt the same. No game felt more than the other one. It all felt like I have to go out there and do my job and do as best I can to play well. So, I mean, I think playing in Kansas City was cool. They were the only people that really had fans this year. So that was it was unique in that sense. Yeah, it was unique in that sense. So it felt like it was like a real game, at least. Some other games, I'm telling you, nobody. And obviously you could see it on TV, but when you're on the field and you look up and there's not a person in the crowd, it's very, very unique. It feels like a scrimmage. But it's not. That's the best player in the league across from you. You can't treat it like one. So great question. I gave you a couple answers, but yeah, off the top of my head, I think at New Orleans was a big game for us. We lost that one on a field goal with no time left. Yeah. So if anyone pops in my head, I'll answer. But there's a couple good ones there for sure.
That was awesome. Like you just said about not having the fans. It's like even when you were at Wood, you probably had a lot of fans at those games, right? Because you guys were doing great every year you were there, right?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely a slow progression to what we ended up being. But yes, we ended up being top 25 my senior year, our senior year. And yeah, we probably had, we didn't pull that well, to be honest, because we would blow teams out. It was ugly. The first game was close. We lost very close. And then we mercy rolled our next 13 opponents. So if you didn't get there by the first half or first quarter, the clock was already running, which is crazy. And it's not even braggadocious. It comes across kind of arrogant and braggadocious when you say it that way, but it's true. This is how it happened. So
we went to a St. Joe's prep game this year.
Oh my God, yeah,
Steven and I, and
not even fun.
I don't know if you heard about who they had. They had Jeremiah Trotter's 2 kids and Marvin Harrison's son.
Quarterback.
Their quarterback. Yeah, he's going to Ohio State. He was a real nice kid. He came up and took time out with Steven and shook his hand and talked to him. Yeah, it was great. Did you guys play St. Joe's Prep during your 4 years?
Absolutely, we did. I'm proud to say we're 2-0. Yeah, we.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. So my junior year, I'm trying to remember. I got to go back and refresh. I think we were down. I could be wrong. No, we were up 21-0 at half. They came back and tied it. Well, they scored 21-20. And we burst through the line, and Sam McCain, who's Matt Ryan's cousin, boom, stuffed the extra point with no time left. And that was it. Game over. We won 21-20 with no time left. That was at Plymouth White Marsh. And then my senior year, we played them in a monsoon, and we were a big running football team. So it was over. I mean, I'm talking pouring rain, sideways. Like, I've never experienced weather like that. My senior year, we played in Halloween. We played O'Hara in like 6 inches of snow the day after Halloween. Like, it wasn't even like that cold out. It was 70 the day before, and then 70 2 days after. Like, we played golf that Sunday. I think the game was on a Friday. Like, it was very weird, so
Yeah.
that was a weird year. And then we played Hershey, which was freezing. And then we played Pittsburgh Central Catholic on ESPN to start the year, and that was like 105 degrees. So that was a whole spectrum of a year. But yeah, we played them in a monsoon. We beat them 42-0. And
Wow.
yeah, so, and I have some great friends on the team. Skylar Marty Morningweg, former offense coordinator for the Eagles.
Oh yeah, I remember
His son, yeah, Skylar. So we're good buddies. We went to college together in Florida. So yeah, no, we beat Prep twice. It's a long-winded answer.
That's awesome, though. That's
Yeah.
great. That's a great thing for people around the country who listen to Steven. St. Joe's Prep's always in the top like 5 or 10
Yeah.
now. That last few years,
yeah,
and
Wood
even
is
back
usually
then, they
too.
had a great program.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, you would.
Mhm.
Ever since Kyle went there, man, that's when they started doing it.
No. Also, it's been about there was when I was there. Now we have 2 NFL guys, which is crazy. Me and myself and Ryan, about to be a third. Kyle Pitts will be a first round pick. From Florida, he's a Wood guy.
Yeah, we saw him in a basketball game. Wasn't it a basketball game we went to see?
Oh,
And I remember I was talking to his dad. And
Yeah.
no, football. It was a football game. We were at for AHA. We were me and you went to watch a game. That was a basketball game, because I remember. Did his son play basketball too? Did the kid Pitts play basketball?
He may have played his junior or senior year. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did, because I remember talking to him, and his dad said, "That's my boy." And I said, "Is he going to a big time school?" And he said, "Yeah, he's going to Florida." Remember, I was
last year.
yeah.
Yeah. I was the captain, but I was
Right.
What you told me about.
Yeah, you were on the
Afterwards,
yeah.
yeah.
Stephen was the captain, and he was on the bench,
Nice.
Mhm.
and I was up in the stands. And this guy, he was a big guy, and he was saying about how he was with his friend. He was like, they were talking about how great his son was doing, and I was like, "That's your boy out there?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I said, "Where's he going?" And he said,
Oh, yeah, that's
he
right,
said
'cause-
Florida. And I was like, "Great, man." I said, because I couldn't remember where you went to school, and when you said Florida, and then you went to Temple, that's what I remember. I remember because when you went, it was like a big deal, because not many people from
Yeah.
around here go to Florida.
Yeah.
The kid from Frankfurt went to Florida.
Thompson.
What's that?
There was a kid that went from Cheltenham. Actually, last name Thompson too. He played Mark Thompson. Maybe he played running back.
No, the one I'm thinking of was the guy from Frankfurt. Not Frankfurt. George Washington football team.
Oh, Sharif Floyd.
Yes. He was a defensive lineman. He wound up playing for the Minnesota. He's out of the league now this year.
He's out. He actually had like a rare quad injury, like crazy, like out of nowhere. He was playing great, and he got a rare, it's like a freak deal that happened with his quad, and he's done. He can't play anymore.
How tall are you, Colin?
I'm 6'4".
And how tall were you in high school?
6'3".
6'3".
6'4", yeah.
Him and Zach Ertz play the same position, right?
Yes, they do. Him and Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
Same number. One just catches a lot more footballs, yeah.
That's
Makes
all
a
right.
lot more money too. Another key point.
That's all right. Steven's trying to get him for his podcast, but we haven't gotten a response yet.
Maybe FaceTime's my birthday.
Yeah, maybe.
You'll get them. Keep trying. You'll get them.
Yeah, but Steven was in the hospital last year, unfortunately, and he got a surprise call from Brent Selleck, another great tight end.
Wow, that's big time.
Christmas Eve.
It was Christmas Eve last year.
Yeah.
He did 2 stints in the hospital, and
then I got a call, and then I went home that day.
Yep, and then he went back in into. We were down at Pennsylvania Hospital
Yeah.
for a few days, about 5-6 days, and then we got out, And
Went
then
out.
we
I
sit-
got out that same night. I went to a basketball game.
Yep. And then tell them where you went for your big surprise.
I was spring training.
Philly spring training last year.
Clearwater, baby. I was down there in the XFL. I loved it. Loved it.
How many games did you play in the XFL?
I played 5. We played 5 and then it shut down. I remember sitting there like week 1 and coronavirus like just hit the States, right? Like one person had it in Seattle or New York or whatever it was. One, right? Think about how crazy that is now. One person, you're like, oh, that's never gonna really do anything. What is that? I'm sitting with the guys at lunch. Like, imagine at this crazy one little freak accident, they spread this disease. We had no idea about it. Still really don't. It ruins this league, ends this league. We'll end up changing the country. And 5 weeks later, it's absolutely insane. We played in Seattle, and I remember a vendor got it. We were like in panic, a vendor, just like, but we didn't know anything about the disease. So, yeah, crazy. It was crazy. But like 5 games, it was awesome though. I loved it, man.
I had a lot of fun watching it. I watched every weekend. I watched the games. I didn't care, and it was funny because I was looking for people like you and other people that were, from local. But it was so weird, and that's when you said about going for the Giants, and then you played in that league afterwards, and that's another good thing that it did. It gave a lot of you guys opportunities to get your face out there, and then get some playing time.
No doubt, and I think if you treat it like a job, you go in and you treat it with respect and respect the game, and I loved it. We were done every day by 2:30. I was in by 9. I was able to go in early and do some extra stuff, and then I would just stay out after till 5 and lift and run and get my body right. And then when the league ended, I was fresh and I was ready to go. And I was really preparing for the NFL while in the XFL. I think I'm going to make it. I know I can make it, even though I wasn't even playing that much. I just said, all right, what do I got to do? So, yeah, it was great. They paid 2 meals a day. We made really good money for a 12-week period. It's not even that long. So you could get a whole nother job if you want to. So yeah, it was great. And you got to play on TV. Those games were really well televised. Fans were drinking beers, throwing drinks. It was a fun atmosphere for people. And I think they nailed it. I'm sure The Rock, he's the perfect guy to buy it. He bought it and he's going to make it great too. I think that's coming up next year. 2 years. Cool. Yep.
So when did you get the call from Matt Rule for the Carolina Panthers?
I got that about, I would say, a month after the league ended, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, just out of nowhere, right before the draft, I should say. So yeah, mid to late April, and just said, hey, we're going to sign you after the draft. Don't say anything, but let your agents know and go from there. So I called my agents, and they were ecstatic, and yeah, it was pretty straightforward. Ready to go play? Yeah, I'm ready to play. How you feel? Good. Okay, great. How was your year in the XFL? Okay, it was good. Great. Okay, I'm going to bring you in. Now he watches the film and does this, and the scouts do all the reporting on all of this. But yeah, it's crazy. I was dead in the water at one point. I never thought I'd play again, and now my phone's ringing from an NFL head coach who's an old friend. So a year before that, he was asking me if I want to come coach with him. So. Pretty crazy. Ended up playing over 300 snaps for him in the Panthers organization this year.
That's great. And you're signed on for next year?
Yeah, I signed a 1-year deal with him.
Great. Yeah, that was one of Steven's questions. He always asks all the guys about coaching when he's done. Ask him.
Oh, do you plan on coaching after you're done playing?
It's a great question. I don't know what I'm planning to do, to be honest with you. Again, it's a great question. I have my hand in a little bit of everything, podcasting. I'm coaching right now currently. I live in Cape May, and I'm the offensive coordinator for the high school team down here. So when I'm not here, someone steps into my role, but I help with watching film and breaking down the tape and building scripts for practice and building the play sheet for the coach to call off the game. So I'm already coaching already.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I want to coach in college or pro. We'll see. Maybe some scouting, maybe something in that realm. We'll see, but I don't know. We'll get to see what the right opportunity comes up when they come. We'll see. But like I said, I'm already coaching. I love coaching, helping the kids. That's what keeps me in it. And right now, I'm helping them with strength training and dieting and all these different things to help them get ready to play.
Who was your favorite player when you were a kid in the NFL?
Yeah, so I talked about Jason Witten already, but there's definitely a few more. Jeremy Shockey, I love. Antonio Gates was great. Tony Gonzalez. I've always loved the tight ends. I love Peyton Manning. He was always just electric to watch. I'll never forget just like watching, the CBS game, and they're playing New England, or they're playing some other AFC team like the Chargers, and they're down 7 or 5 or whatever. And here he comes down the field, tic-tac-toe, and they win the game. Just felt like it happened every weekend. And I love Michael Vick. That was a great one. When he came to Philly, that was really, electric, and what he did, and Andy Reid bringing him in and taking him under his wing. And now Mike does a lot of really good for the world. And being able to meet him personally, he's a pretty good man, very good man, from my experience. So yeah, that's a great question. There's a lot of really good people I looked up to as a kid. And I'm trying to think off the top of my head. A bunch of great Eagles like Brian Dawkins is always fun to watch, and Trotter, talked about him already on the show.
I met Jeremiah when we were after the game at St. Joe's Prep.
Yeah, that's a good one to go to. The star study. John Runyon's kid went to the Prep. He's with the Packers right now.
Yeah, that's what when we were there that day. They were playing Roman.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, it was pretty good in the beginning. Roman was giving him a decent game, but then after that, it was just like you said about Wood. They had
St. Joe's Prep.
Yeah, that's when he said about Wood had to have the running clock. Because Steven told me all the rules. He's like, yeah, after they get to a certain point, if they're winning by a certain amount of points, they keep clock running. I was like
35 or more. 35
yeah.
or more.
I said that's interesting. And then so he knows the athletic director, so we were on the field. So he got Steven, he got Jeremiah that autographed a ball, and got a picture with him. And
at first I didn't even know it was him.
Yes, he was actually coaching on the he was helping the defensive linebackers and what have you out. And it was but I tell you, man, it was what a difference. Like when you see those guys played in high school, they run like a pro offense. And like I said, that quarterback is going to Ohio State next year. And I couldn't get over. We were right on the field, and I was like, this is unbelievable. I said, they're throwing the ball more than the Eagles do sometimes.
It's like a track.
Yeah, very track
meet.
Yeah.
It's like a track meet, man. They when you're that tuned in, especially like for us, we were just a running offense. It was like literally like a track meet. It was like hit the hole, we're out the gate. And some games we throw to show that we could do it, but at the end of the day, we knew what we were doing. The Prep now, I haven't watched them play, but I used to watch them practice at Temple. They used to practice right out there. So I was training late. They would come in and they would practice. I'd be able to lift and watch them, or sneak away, and I'd run and they would lift. So or they'd practice. But they're huge. They have a huge, pool of kids that wants to come there. It's an unbelievable education. And
yes.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
Main thing, and that's what I said about Wood's a great school and part of the Catholic League, of course. But so many people moved up this way from my neighborhood, like growing up, and we're from North Philly originally, and they all get better jobs, and then they moved up there, and then their kids are going to school, and some of them choose the public school route with the great education that they give, Lower Moreland, and those older schools. But Archbishop Wood has such a rich program with sports, and like I said, with the helping athletes that Steven goes to. He now he's gotten to know all the coaches there, and the women's basketball team was a guy that Steven knew since he was a kid. So it's really good. We go up there and it feels like home to us now. And we were never a part of anything with Wood until Steven started going up for the athletes, helping athletes.
That's the number one thing that I loved about Wood. I'm pretty transparent. It's a family there. It really is. There's literally, it's just a special place. I talk to several younger kids now looking for what they want to do, and I'll answer them questions where they want to go to school. And I just tell them about my experience of Wood. It was a family. It really is a family. The Catholic League is a family in general, but especially Wood in particular. Like Coach Wallop and what he's doing there now, which Kyle Atkins, my former teammate and team captain, he did, and then what Steve Devlin did, and what all the other programs do, and then the inclusion side of it with AHA, athletes open athletes, and the
Mhm.
school and the complete buy-in of that, all that counts and matters. The student body, everybody involves everybody, and that's not the case in other schools, in my opinion. It definitely has become more, but back when AHA, when we started, I mean, Rick started, but when I first kind of randomly bumped into what is going on out here, 2008. So yeah, pretty cool how times have changed. And now here we are on a Zoom call with the pandemic going on, doing these interviews. It's great.
What made you decide to put AHA initials on your cleats?
Yeah, so my cause, my cleats is a thing that the NFL allows the players to do, and they give you X amount of money, I believe, for you to get some painting on your cleats. A great question. I love AHA. It's near and dear to my heart. It's brought me to some people like yourself, and I love what Rick Leonetti and the entire staff, the people strive to do there. We were a part of it at Wood, and then at Temple, we started it. Myself and Katie Chiodo, who's very involved now, always been really heavily involved and does a great job there. And we were able to do it at Temple as well, which is really cool. The first university, we had you guys out in the field. When I remember, I would call games and I'd see Matt Beckman and all of the whole crew sitting really front row. I mean, that's just tremendous. So it's that's why I decided, because it's definitely something that's near and dear to me. And a lot of different guys put a bunch of different things in their cleats, but for me, it's got to be AHA.
I remember the one time I was down to the football fun day.
Yeah, Temple.
I don't
Yep.
know. The team.
No, he was gone by then.
No, I think that was the same year.
No, it was the year Fran Dunphy was still coaching basketball. I think it might have been one of his last years. Were you there when Dunphy was there when you were there, or Dunphy?
Yeah, Dump was the head coach. I probably was at that.
It was the men's football team was there because Stephen was able to
tackled every single one of them.
Yeah, they had the mat set up, and then they handed the ball off, and then Stephen ran through the one
and jumped on the mat. Yeah.
Yes.
I was there. I was
there. Okay.
I was there, but not as a player. I was already gone. I came back.
All right.
Yeah. So they had some players there, and I was the old man coming back.
That was great, though. I tell you, man, because they had baseball, golf, basketball, girls soccer, football. But they all loved the football the most because of the guys were great. They had them big blocking things, and they had so much fun that day.
We'll do it again soon when this gets over. I know they're already preparing for what's next. They do a great job. So
I know it was great. And then Stephen wound up running the girl that went to Cardinal Doherty while he was there. So, I'm sorry, St. David's. He always corrects me. And she wound up being at Temple going for her master's degree. And she picked Stephen out of the crowd. Oh my God. And she goes running over to him. And I'm like, man, he knows everybody will go someplace.
Steve the Legend.
Yes, he is.
Let me ask you a question. How did that nickname start?
Want me to tell him?
Yeah. Steve
hung out with a lot of his friends from the old neighborhood in Kensington. And when these guys got to be in their 20s and 30s, 25-ish, they would say, one friend used to take Stephen out. He was a real good athlete. His name was Brian Mitchell. Great. He played football. He quarterback, played kicker, punter, and safety. So anyway, they would take him out to the bars and stuff. So every time they would take him, they would turn around and Steve would have like 6 beautiful girls around him. So the guys would say, "You're a legend, man. You're a legend." And then from there on in, it stuck with him forever and ever. And it fits so much with him because I always tell people he's a one of a kind. He's the only one you'll ever meet that does the stuff that he does. Crazy stuff. The one guy.
He's a legend.
Oh, he is. And then ever since then, it's so funny. The one he was involved in a soccer league down in Fairmount area. And the guy, before the game, Stephen went out with him and he helped him chalk the field. And he did a big circle in the middle and he had the legend. And Stephen was laying down in the center of the field. It was so funny.
I think that was the last time that was
last game you played. Yeah.
Down there. Yeah.
That's great.
The other great thing, a lot of these guys included Stephen in things they did. He would go to their rough touch football games, and in the one game they let him get in the game and all. And that's what I said. They all it was so funny because guys I knew played against them, and they said, I never realized those guys were decent people until I seen them how they acted with Steven. I said, see, just because they're from North Philly don't mean they're that bad.
I remember the one time I was like I was probably all the other guys were like 40. I was like 25. I was playing on a men's team with them.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it, man. That's
One
great.
of my dad's buddies, I wanted to take the penalty kick and wouldn't let me.
And then my buddy missed it, and Steven said,
I was scheduled to go next day,
he
said.
was in the sidelines, and he said, I could have done that. And then we all started laughing. I said, you're right, Steve. You could have missed it just as bad as he missed it.
Steve, another question for you. Steve
Yeah.
11, I should say. Who's your favorite guest you've had on over the years
Yeah.
When you're
on your podcast?
Carly Lloyd.
Big one, huh?
Yeah.
That's a big one. She's a gold medal winner. Rutgers, New Jersey.
Yeah. She was very good. That was one of his first ones on Instagram,
Yeah.
but he's had a couple recently. He did.
Jesse Madden was one of them.
Yeah, that was interesting. He's the grandson of John Madden. He's a senior in high school this year, and he was being recruited by all big schools.
Mhm.
And at the time, we didn't find out where did he ever find out where he signed?
So I asked him. I was just talking to him today about.
Still didn't
it.
sign?
He asked me.
So
He didn't get back to me.
okay. Yeah, so that was interesting.
Mhm.
That was a real good one. Steven asked him all the great questions like, did you get a chance to play Madden and stuff, before everybody else? So he says, yeah, this year, the last year they had it, last August, I guess, when they brought it out, he got access to, he went to a meeting with his grandpa, and because he was, 18 now, and he went to the meeting for they asked him his opinion of it because they know how much he played, and he gave his opinion about what he liked and what he didn't like, and he said it was great. He said every year he got a brand new game every year.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
That's what I said. I said,
Sure.
Steven. Yeah, that was good. Anybody else you can remember? Can't leave anybody out, man.
No. This is I shouldn't put him on the spot. Those two are good. Don't do any more, and then because then I'll take the blame.
Wood. It's Mike McDonald.
Mike McDonald?
Yeah.
Oh, from Wood. Yeah, the Wood men's basketball.
No, girls.
Girls basketball.
Girls, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That's cool.
He did their parents too.
He did both of them.
Yeah.
Mike's dad.
Mike's dad was the founder of a special organization called Fox Chase Champions. And Steven wanted to have him on. And then, of course, his mom was a great basketball player and coach at Colonel Doherty girls team.
Yeah.
Colonel Doherty, no more, sadly.
Yeah. Anybody else, Steve? How about Rick Leonetti?
Oh, yeah. Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's gonna be listening. Don't leave him out.
I forgot I had him on.
Yeah.
Oh,
We were up.
he's the best.
My wife was upset. We forgot to ask Rick to sing his famous song.
Yeah.
He always sings, man. He'll be listening to this. And
People are freezing.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, but it was a really good one because he's a little older than I am, and he gave us a lot about Connie Mack Stadium and the stories like that. It was really good. Rick's a good storyteller.
Mhm.
he is, shocker. I know he's gonna be listening, so I can't pump his tires too much, but there's no better man than Rick Leonetti. He's the best. He is the best.
How does that work? Do you get the same roommate every time you guys get to go? Like play away or
No roommates this year because of COVID. So yeah, we had our own room, which was nice. Very nice.
How about that, huh?
wow, I didn't even
Yeah. I kind of forgot about that too.
Yeah, no roommates because of COVID. No.
When you were on a plane,
Sorry,
how do you pass the time? Like when you go on a plane?
I'll tell you exactly how I pass the time with my eyes slammed shut. I usually work as later that night, the night before the flight, because I know I'm going to get a nap on the plane. But yeah, what I'll do is we have like a walkthrough that day, or walkthrough. Yeah, usually a walkthrough or a quick hour practice. Pretty much get a sweat, and then you go on the plane, and I'll go in there, stuff my face with whatever burrito or whatever they got for us, and then I'm out like a light, man. I'm done. If it's a longer flight, I'll wake up, I'll do my tight end test. We have a little test we do for every game, and I hand it to our tight end coach. But other than that, just hang out, watch a little movie or whatever they got going on the screen on the back of the chairs. But just try to shut it down mentally. Just try to check out. The work's not done yet, but it's definitely a time to relax and more get in the mode of rest and get the body ready to play.
You're not there, Steve. You could do that with your players. Start giving them tests, and that's a great thing. He's a professional, and he still gets tests and still has to take tests. How about that?
Yeah, I
knows what, make sure he knows what he's doing before the game starts.
Yep, they test us on some new stuff, some things that we talked about. You should know the answers to most of it. Of course, you look things up and go through it. But yeah, it's different route combinations, some things we're working on, points of emphasis for the week, what coverage they run.
That's really interesting, right? Like I said, we talked to a couple pro guys so far, and we're looking to get some former NBA players and what have you. But when comes to meeting people like yourself, he's met other professional football players, but we never had a chance to talk, and that's something interesting that I think everybody
I wonder if he would have come on here.
Oh, I can look into it, but it's been a while. I work at a auto tag store in South Philly, and we used to do work with all the Eagles players back in the day. Before 2008, you could register your car with an out-of-state license. Well, now you have to have a Pennsylvania license, so we kind of lost our relationship with those guys because most of them want to keep their home state license. They don't want to switch it over. And
yeah,
I don't blame them because how short an NFL career, some guys last a year or 2 years.
I'm Pennsylvania, man. I don't change mine over in North Carolina.
That's right.
Even though I'm in Cape May now, I'll be over in Jersey. But no, I mean, that's not normal. I would say the test, that's a coach rule, thing he's always stood by. Just continue, how can we be better? And that's something that he believes in. And
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
When do you plan to go back to
OTAs?
Yeah.
So we'll see if they're going to happen or not. I don't know. The talk is, I think they're starting mid-April. That's usually when they start, but right before the draft. But I don't know. I don't know if we're going to go because of COVID, right? Our old friend COVID. So we may be virtual again. We may be virtual all the way through. They may do the exact same formula that they did this year. I don't know if we're going to have preseason games or not, but I'll tell you what, I thought it worked out pretty well. I thought the season was a success. Maybe some sloppy play early on, but not that bad. Yeah. You practice harder. I liked practicing harder. Remind me of college again. Sometimes the preseason games, I love them, but it's a great opportunity. But the nice thing about college was it just gave you that time. You had 5 weeks to really get better and improve. And then, you go out and play. Yeah, you're maybe a little rusty, but I like them both. People ask me, did you mind this or that? They're both great opportunities. So, but yeah, I don't know when we're going to go back to answer your question. We'll see. My gut is we're virtual again. On the iPad.
I guess the Union's coach.
Oh yeah, we interviewed Jim Curtin, the Philadelphia Union soccer coach.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He'll be successful.
Yeah, he went to the Bishop McDevitt near our house. When he was talking about Bishop McDevitt, that was the school out in Harrisburg.
Harrisburg.
Yeah, the team that he played. Yeah, no, the team he played. That was Shady McCoy went there.
Correct. He was on the sideline for the game.
Was he really?
Yeah, he had some choice words for some of our players, though, so I wasn't a fan.
I don't blame you. Well, they had a real good running back that year, right?
They had some good players across the board. I think they had a solid running back. We had three really good running backs.
Whatever happened, as I said, what happened to your guys? Did any of them make it to the pros?
No, I was me and Bates. Ryan Bates are the only two. Desmond Peoples had some good years at Rutgers. He was our starting back. Brandon Peoples had some good years at Wagner. McMullen went to Nova and stopped playing his freshman year. Frank Taylor is an offensive line, went to Boston College. He played throughout his years at BC. Let's see who else. Brandon Archidiacono had some back issues and ended his career short because of back problems. That's brutal. We had one other D1 guy.
Is that Ryan's brother?
It's Ryan's cousin. Yep. Yeah, I played with Ryan. Ryan and I played CYO football together growing up for Mount Carmel Romans in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. So I've had Ryan on my podcast. He's a great guy. I'm so happy for him in the league. He's got a job in the league. He's got a role, great role. So I haven't been able to watch him a lot this year, but so No, it's just myself and Ryan, and then Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts would be the next one. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, he'll be there. That's for sure. That's great.
Yeah. What age did you start playing tackle football?
When I started playing tackle, 6th grade. Yeah, I played, like I said, Our Lady Mount Carmel Romans. I didn't want to play pound ball, where I'm the biggest, guy. I'm say I'm 185 pounds, and I'm 10, and everyone else is 14, and then I get killed. So my dad's like, do this Mount Carmel football thing. There was a dad that that dropped it in his ear when I was playing basketball with another bigger guy on the team, and he's Colin should play football. And he's like, all right, well, I don't want to get him hurt, so go play here. Everyone's the same age. So I started there, and I wouldn't have went to Wood probably if I didn't start there, because it was obviously it was a football through the church, CYO. And ended up playing 3 years there, and then it was like a no-brainer. I was like, oh, my friends are going to Archbishop Wood, so I'm going to Archbishop Wood. I know that was probably one of your questions. Why did I leave Central Bucks East? But yeah, honestly, it was like, this is a good opportunity. Program's pretty good. The schooling's great. It's a great community. And I get to do what I love and play basketball too. Play basketball with before being told I can't play anymore, which stinks, but that's just how it goes.
Did you play basketball at Wood too?
Yeah, I played my freshman and sophomore year. Yeah. I think we played the last JV game. Here's a fun, quirky fact. At Cardinal Doherty. Yeah. I played the last varsity game in there too, I believe. I had like 8 missed foul shots and 2 made layups. So I had 4 points. Yeah.
Did you always play tight end and wear the same number?
No, never. I never. I shouldn't say never. Let me say no. I always played a bunch of different positions. I started at center, then I played guard and tackle. The only time I played tight end was in a CYO All-Star game for like 4 plays. I wore 80, and I wanted to be Jeremy Shockey, and I was like, I'm going to wear 80. They'll let me wear 80, and this will get a cool end of this story. So I wore 80 then. And then I went to Wood, and a bunch of tight ends before I got to Wood were 84. So I wore 84 at Wood. And then when I got to Florida, 84, same number. And then when I got to Temple, I wore 86 because some tight ends before me wore 86, and they were some good players. So the tight end coach wanted me to wear 86. That was really cool. And then when I left there, like I said, my favorite player was Jeremy Shockey, and I wore 80. So I only wore the same number 2 times. I wore the same number once, I should say, and or twice, excuse me. And I got to the Giants, and I walked into my locker, and there was number 80 in my locker. So really cool feeling to wear number 80. And I wanted to be, like I said, Jeremy Shockey with the Giants was someone I looked up to. So that was really unique. And then with the Bears, I wore 82. With it's starting to get long now. With Birmingham, I wore 85. So I wore 86 a bunch, I should say. And then I wore, XFL, I wore 86. Yeah. And then the NFL, I wore 86. Yeah. So 86 has been the number all the way through.
Were you on the Bears the year of the double doink game, or was it the?
No. So, it's funny. A lot of Eagles fans were cheering for that double doink, but that cost me some money, not for gambling reasons, but more of the fact that I would have went back to work. The Bears were ready to bring me back in if they advanced to the next round because they had some tight end injury issues. So I was going to go back and be on the practice.
Oh, man.
So it was for the Eagles fans, and everyone's texting me like, yeah, let's go. The Eagles got through. I'm like, oh man, that was my shot to be a part of a Super Bowl contender. At the time, the Eagles had it down year, I believe, or they kind of snuck in.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I know Cody personally. He's a great guy, Cody Parkey. So that was, and ball got tipped. The poor guy.
It did.
So, but hey, double doink. I was with the team that training camp, and then I got cut at the end of training camp, and I was supposed to go out, but didn't go out. I was supposed to go back and forth all year. I just stayed ready, and then come the playoffs. I'm down in Florida with some family, and Aiden's like, "Hey, be ready. You may be going to Chicago. If they win this game in advance, I think they're going to bring you in." I was like, "Great, let's go." So I am cheering hard for the Bears. I didn't text an Eagles fan back. I was going crazy for the Bears, and. Yeah. So hey, man, it is what it is. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, well, that's more important. Your career is more important than of being an Eagles fan, especially if you're trying to go against them. That's for sure.
Yeah.
What motivates you?
Great question. Heavy questions. I like it. That's a great question. What motivates me?
Mhm.
I just think, I peel back the layers on that. Always trying to do things the right way is always motivating me. I don't know why. Maybe that helps me sleep better at night. I don't know, but just trying to do things the right way, and that's opinion based. I get it, but for me, it's always about, like I said, doing things the right way, and taking care of your people along the way, and building a team and a friendship and relationships and collecting friends, and like I said, building relationships. That's always mean the most to me. That's what drives me. Family, friends, but honestly, like, and people I've been around, like, well, you're doing what you're doing by yourself, but hey, I'm never by myself. I always had great supporters along the way. Great people that believed in me along the way, and that's what was fun for me this year, is not to prove people wrong that I can play in the NFL. I don't care about those people, but prove people right that always believed in me. That's really what motivated me, is I got to prove people right. I got to prove to myself that I can do this, and this year I was able to do it.
That's great.
Yeah,
Do you have any hobbies?
I love to fish. I love to cook. Like to have some cold beers every once in a while. I like I don't know. It's a great question. I have a bunch. I like podcasting. I like coaching.
Mhm.
I love to eat. I said I like to cook, but I love to eat. So
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit of everything. I like to travel. Love to travel. Love to see different places. Love to talk football. Love to watch sports. I'm a huge hockey fan. I love the NHL. I love the Flyers are my team. Probably the one true Philadelphia sports team that I really, really root for. I will root for the Phillies when they're good, and the Sixers when they're good. I will not root for the Eagles at all. It's not in my blood. Never has been either. It's not like I am one now. It's just
Who was your team growing up?
it's funny. So my dad's family, they only got like a certain channel, right? So he always talks about like the Vikings and the Vikings, Steelers, and Cowboys were always on at his house. So his dad would take him to Jets games because his friend he worked with had tickets to Jets games. So they went to Jets games. They didn't have any money, right? So it was a gift. So they were, sure, we'll go to a Jets game and take my son. So my dad was like a Jets fan, and then they were Vikings fans and Purple People Eaters. So like my dad, like, and then I think what pushed him away too was like the crazy Eagles fans, like, no, I'm just gonna support whoever I support. So my dad never like pushed it on me. So they left it open. And then really my mom, there was a guy that sat behind her in high school, ended up being my head coach for the Birmingham Iron and the AAF. His name's Tim Lewis. Tim, who was a first round pick. He was an All-American at Pitt. He was a first round pick, Penn Ridge High School. First round pick by the Green Bay Packers. He put his head down on Monday Night Football on a tackle. They said, if you get tackled like that again, your career's over. She was at the game. It was in Green Bay, which was cool enough to play. Actually, that was probably the biggest game. Green Bay was pretty cool. Loved there. If you're a football fan, you got to go. It's incredible. Whether your team's playing the Packers or not, it's an amazing place. We'll get into that. But so Tim stopped playing football and started coaching. So when I was growing up, Tim was with the Steelers when they had like Joey Porter, like he was their defensive coordinator. So we were Steelers fans. We used to drive to the games and support Tim. And then he went to the Giants. So to put in perspective, when he was with the Steelers, he was with the Steelers probably for like 5 or 6 years, good bit of time, all Coward. And then he got let go when Ben became a rookie and they won Super Bowl his rookie year, Roethlisberger. Yeah. And then he went to the Giants, and he was there for 3 years, I believe. And then the next year he got let go, and they brought in Eli Manning, and they won a Super Bowl his rookie year. So he missed 2 Super Bowls. So I supported both. I really did. And then I went to the Giants parade the year after Tim left. Just my mom's like, "Hey, you need to see this. You need to be able to. You want to play in the NFL? You're a 7th grade, 6th grader, and that's your goal. You got to see this. You got to visualize your success." So that's a fun little story too. And going up there with my mom, my aunt, my little cousin, and coming in, sadly, on 9/11 on the subway and seeing that, and then coming up into the sea of blue and red and the ticker tape, and whether you like the Giants or hate them, I mean, it was unreal to see a ticker tape parade in New York City. I'll never forget it. So
what year was that? 2008?
Yeah.
It was the year they beat the
Patriots.
Yeah, the perfect Patriots, right?
Yeah. So that was unique. I was 15, right? I'm trying to think. Yeah. So
That's the same year I call how they had a no-hitter, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
You got your ticket right here. Yep.
Yeah.
So I supported a bunch of different teams growing up. A little bit of everybody we supported, and I liked Notre Dame as a kid. That was cool. But then I didn't like them in recruiting process. You know, I was like, you know.
They didn't come after you?
They did not. They said I was too big. I don't know what that means. They're like, I was a big tight end. I was 250 already. I'm 250 right now. I just like, I need to stop. I didn't grow. 6'4". If I was 6'7", I'd be like 280, but I'm not. So I just play at this plain weight. But yeah, that was like too big. They like to build you up differently, and I was already big. So people wanted to move me to tackle. I've always been a blocker. So yeah, unique stories. There's a bunch of them along the way.
There you go.
And then the last question, is this for fun? If you could have dinner with just hang out with 3 football players, they could be dead or alive, who would they be and why?
Wow, dead or alive.
We're coaches. Wow.
I mean, you got a lot of people to pull from there. He went from 3 football players, they can be dead or alive, and coaches. Well, I'll say this. I'll start right here. There's 2 people at this moment of time that I want to have a dinner and some drinks with, and that's Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. You know, I've seen some videos of them having a good time on that parade, I think. And I don't like the Bucs. I'm in their division, but I have a ton of respect for them. Obviously, a lot of people do. Everyone should respect them. You may not support their play, but they should be respected. They're the greatest of all time at what they do, both of them. So probably those 2. They're having a good time, so that would be good. Trying to think of what third would be. That's a great question. No one else in the Bucs, because I don't like the Bucs. But let's see. What have I had dinner with? Great question. Who are your 3, Steve?
Uh-oh.
I don't even know.
Yeah, no one ever asked you. That's a good one.
I'll flip them around, man. I'm a podcaster too. I got my mic right here.
There you go. He flipped it around.
You?
Me?
Him, Ertz.
And Nick Foles, because he won us the Super Bowl.
Oh, he may be coming back. No, that's a great question. That's a great question. I don't know. There's a lot of good ones.
You had said earlier about liking Peyton Manning. Do you watch his show?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
God, I tell you, he's one. I just watched the episode before I came upstairs with Steven, and it was the most recent one with James Lofton.
Didn't watch any of them.
Oh, you got to watch this season, Steve. The one I just watched was about the first Super Bowl, and James Lofton, his dad, woke him up that morning and said, "Hey, you want to go to a football game?" And he says, "Yeah." And they walked right up to the field, to the stadium, and bought a ticket, and it was like half empty, the stadium. And it was out in Los Angeles. It was 1967. And it was so funny. It was a great story. And it was about it was all about the halftime show, about how they didn't have a halftime show back in the day.
I love it. I love the show. My fiance's father loves it. He's a huge Peyton Manning fan. I mean, if you like football at all, if you have any interest in sports at all, no matter if you're a moderate football fan, you're going to leave this and love football after, because you get to know the guys better. You know, I couldn't tell you how many battles I have to go through about, football players are good people. Just a microcosm of society. There's good and bad people, and there's way more good people than bad.
Absolutely. You just like when the police, you hear about the bad ones, never all the good ones. And
there's tons of
Ethan's got an opportunity to meet so many people. John Runyon was one of the ones that
best.
Yeah, he stood out to us. I took him to a spring training camp at the time.
What time I was down Conroe Field.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to tell him. Yeah. We went to when John was playing. Andy Reid was coaching,
no,
and
he wasn't playing.
Yeah, no. I said we were out at the camp. And remember, he was one of the only players. Yeah. So Steven got an opportunity to carry the equipment and then that day it was wide receivers. So Steven was hoping it was T.O.'s first year. Mm-hmm. So Steven was hoping he would get T.O., and of course they gave him Billy McMullen, the rookie.
And then the kid after me
got T.O. Yep. So then we walked all the way down to the thing to the
Jermaine Mayberry,
like the end of the track. And then the players at that point ran to the inside the gymnasium,
yeah.
And it was raining, not real hard, but it was raining pretty steady. John Runyon walked the whole time, and he stopped And I said, hey, can I get a picture? And he said, absolutely. Steven stood there with him, and we still have the picture up here in his bedroom.
Mhm.
And then he took the time out and he said, you want me to sign anything? And we got him signed a pennant we had. And then fast forward a couple years later, Special Olympics invited Steven and about 6 other kids and their parents, and my kids were able to go,
Yeah,
and
I
we got on the
understand
field.
right?
Yeah, my daughter went. My other son was in college at the time, and he
Well,
got on the
hey,
field.
well, then they told me I couldn't go past the one line.
Yeah, they said
Stay behind the line.
yeah, you can't gotta go, you gotta stay at the line. And all the cheerleaders lined up. So then they were able to go out with the cheerleaders, but they said you can't go like in like I said, I looked at one of the other parents. I said, do they think Steven and them are gonna bum rush the guys on the team?
And then John Runyon was
So then John Runyon was at the time he was in Congress, I think. He wasn't and he was on the sidelines. And kept trying to, me and a couple of the other dads kept trying to get the players come over and take pictures with the kids because there was only 6 of them. It wasn't like there was like 30 kids. So John Runyon overheard us saying it, and he turned around and he goes, I'll take the picture with them. And then we're like, yeah, absolutely. Because we weren't going to bother him because he was, there as a fan himself.
Chip Kelly's first game.
No, not first game. No. First home game.
Oh, yeah.
Fun fact about John Runyon now, does anybody know what he does?
Yes, I do. He's the head of dishing out the penalties and fines when they.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if Colin punches somebody in the head and
Yeah.
talk to
Everything, helmet to helmet, all that stuff gets fine, man. Face masks, like that's the one thing that people don't understand about the league.
John Runyon's career, he was voted the most dirtiest player.
Yeah.
So I guess they figured they can't get anybody better than get him in there. He knows all the dirty tricks.
Oh man. So yeah. People love him, but don't like him. You know, if you know.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy.
The best, yeah.
Somebody I know got in an Uber and John Runyon was driving it. I swear to God.
Really?
Yeah. But 2 years.
I believe it.
Yeah.
He's one of the biggest people I've ever been around.
He
Shoot.
said, I'm bored. He goes, my kids are in school, in college, and he goes, let's get out of the house. And the guy was crazy. Yeah, my buddy John lives over. My buddy John, remember John's daughter played soccer with John Runyon's daughter. Yeah, we went to a couple select soccer games, and she was a girl on the team. She was a real good player.
What did you think of the Super Bowl?
I thought it was, I'll be honest with you, I thought that was going to happen. Not that I could sit here and say I called the game. I didn't know if it was going to be that one-sided, but I just thought with the injuries to the offensive line in Kansas City, 3 guys being down, that's tough. I mean, that's tough. That finding good offensive line is hard, and lineman is hard enough. Really is. It's a tough position because you're playing the best athletes on the team, and they're defensive ends and defensive tackles, and they're big and they move unbelievably. So yeah, I thought I thought the Bucs would win by 10 plus points, maybe 14, maybe 2 scores, but yeah, Mahomes was unreal. The throws he made and the way he fought through the injury. He's getting surgery now, and I like the way the Bucs run the ball too. I think that's the least talked about thing is they can run the ball. They always have been. So yeah, I think the Bucs are just a better team, probably player for player, a healthier team. That's the key. And that's 20 games they just played. That's a lot of football. So if you can maintain and be healthy, keep your quarterback upright. Tom Brady didn't get hit a whole lot this season, and he's coming back for more. I'm sure he'll be back for plenty more. So I don't like that in the division, that's for sure.
How did you do yourself personally against the Tampa Bay defense when you played them?
I had my only catch and a touchdown. So yeah, that was special. Blocking wise, I did solid. I did solid. My first play in my NFL career was a block on Jason Pierre-Paul, and Chris McCaffrey kind of hit it right off of me and fell into the end zone. So that was really cool.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I was in for a couple touchdowns against them, and yeah, it was great. The first game was closer. The second game wasn't as close. Should have been in both games, but we beat ourselves, and you can't do that in the NFL.
I was really impressed with that Shaq Barrett, and he was unbelievable in the Super Bowl. But
I played against Shaq. Shaq was the 3rd or 4th defensive end for the Denver Broncos when they had Von Miller, Shane Ray, all those guys. He was like the 4th guy. And I was at practice, and I would go out there with the 2s. I was like probably the 5th or 6th tight end then, and I was like, this guy's the best one. Bond is the best one, but this guy's the best one. He's their backup. So
Right.
he got paid a lot of money and he's going to get paid a lot of money again.
All right, thanks for coming on, man.
Great chat with you guys. Anytime, man. I love coming on.
Well, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day.
No problem, man. It's the off season. We can make it work. So thank you guys. Talk soon.
So much. And go AHA.
Yeah.
Go AHA. They're going to say go Eagles. I was like, no, but go AHA.
I wouldn't do that to you. And
Go AHA,
real quick fact about Steven. He does like the Cowboys. That's his second favorite team.
Oh.
Yeah.
My grandparents.
His grandparents, he has a tattoo in memory of his grandparents and his uncle.
That's awesome.
Right up there, the little Dallas Star, and he got all three of their names.
It's cool, man.
So, yeah, his mother's family was a big Cowboy family. So, but
Cowboys, man. Hey, I respect them. They're a great organization. We play them this year in Dallas. So
great.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know if you play the Eagles?
we play the Eagles at home in Carolina. Yep.
Oh, maybe I'll go.
There you go. Maybe we'll go to the Carolina.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Come on down, man.
Yeah.
Everyone's invited. I don't know how many tickets I'll be able to give out. People already are petitioning. I'm like, wow, they're already Googling the schedule next year. So we play the NFC East.
I have a group of friends that try to go to at least one away game. So maybe I'll talk to them. We'll see if we get them to go to the Carolina game, and then
absolutely, man.
We're back out.
Yeah.
Get you some gloves. We'll hook you up with some gear and try to get you to meet some guys.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
All right, thank you, man.
All right, Colin. Thank you very much. Appreciate it very much.
Stay healthy, guys. Talk soon.
Thank you very much. Good job, Steve. Great job. You didn't know I look at your notes. You did such a good job, Steve.
And